versus Leoric, which is an old type of traditional lineup. Leoric usually, if he's able to hit that drain, Hope is able to burn him down. But here we go. It's time to go into game number 1. Here on the left side, in the blue, it's going to be Gen.G, Kyochi on Leoric, Reset on Junkrat, Sake on Tirana, Tist on Geralt, Rich on Hanzo. Give it up for Gen.G!
And over to the right side of the map, we have in the red, Sport Billy on Johanna, Eternal on the offlane, playing Arthas in game number 1. Arcana once again on the Tracer, Nurok on Deckard, Kane, and Hazops on Phoenix. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Liquid!
Straight to the center of the map, our teams go. The wave clear, who would you give it over to? Probably Gen.G here with the ability to move into that Junkrat, but also, if Hanzo wants to get that explosive barrel, they can definitely control that middle lane.
Yeah, they definitely can, and their wave clear potential is actually fantastic here. We still have, of course, the Condemn around Johanna that can really make some good plays here and just rotate between the lanes, but it's going to very much come down again how much Arcana can threaten that backline. If you are able to get on that Tyrande, even though she trades quite well into you, if she uses the Hunter's Mark, you're still in a position where you can get those quick blow-ups, and that's what Arcana is going to be looking for. For me personally, it's going to be the battle around the biotic emitter that we are most likely going to see. Who's going to take it? And are both teams willing to commit to it too? And
the way to know if you're going to see if any team's going to be moving forward that support camp is look at that bottom lane. We're going to see if Leoric or Arthas goes for the rotation. Whoever gets there first is typically the team that wants to be aggressive and get there. And Team Liquid usually runs for that biotic emitter, so we'll be keeping an eye on that as we watch the first turrets being grabbed here at the 1 minute mark. And instantly, Arcana is there. Also, as you mentioned, want to get pressure on the back line, even moving into that melee there as he goes in straight for the pulse strike on level 1. Get those bombs out. Drop them as many people as you can there to make sure that they are weakened so you can get those picks.
One of the things that I'm really happy to see is that Eternal again is on Arthas. He had some fantastic plays in phase 2 on the hero, always just adding huge value, not only on the side lane, but also with the engage. And now once again, he is on that hero, trying of course to look for those rotations. Turret's super important here, both of the teams picking it up early. That will allow them also, once the objective spawns, to grab a second turret in the middle of that fight if they make the rotation. But now all the eyes are on the biotic emitter, the support camp here. Are we going to see that commitment?
Gen.G so far has done their homework. You saw Leoric clear out that bottom lane, rotate to the middle, waiting for Team Liquid to make that play for that emitter, but no one moving for it yet. In fact, Team Liquid pulling back, realizing Gen.G is playing safe around this emitter. They are willing to fight, so Team Liquid goes back and grabs the siege camp instead. Having this push early allows them to make the play afterwards.
And immediately scouted out too, so Gen.G already saw that this is going to be taken right now. Bot lane though, that's where we're having Kyoja, still threatening Eternal. He's not the only one. Tis is actually looking for the potential engage, but Eternal sees it early enough, moves back immediately. And now we have Gen.G reacting in kind, taking their own camp, but you can already see on the minimap that both of the teams are just hovering around the support camp, but both of them are like, are you going to go for it? Do we have to fight here?
That is the main focus for the early game for both these teams until we wait for that control point to spawn, which will be spawning pretty darn soon. Loving that both teams have waited for the siege camps too. They want to have that pushing door during that control point to pull away those side laners to clear that up, and still, Tis continues to control that point.
Also, we have ignore all distractions taken as a level 4 talent choice for
Rich loves this.
He loves it on that map in particular. You always have those minion waves pushing right next to the objective, so you can try to go for that extra range increase on the basic attacks, and that's something that he utilizes extremely well when those team fight moments happen.
It's pivotal against a Tracer player. When she has to blink in, suddenly she has to use 2 blinks to get into that and also to get away, so she has to think twice about going for her engages. Arcana already speaking about that Tracer, putting some damage on Tis, who's trying to hold the control point, but it goes over to Team Liquid first, and they start to build up percentage.
Arcana moving away here, but yes, as you said, Team Liquid grabbing the point first. Also, both of them not going for the support camp here. A lot of respect in game number 1. Iron Skin by Billy already used, needs to be a bit careful here. Arcana still poking, trying to put the damage out, but Phoenix and Arthur still missing here in the middle.
Yeah, they're soaking up that level 7. So important. Gen.G already had in that regard, so Team Liquid trying to catch up, and that'll give time for Gen.G to build their own points up. The moment that 7 comes into, we'll see the aggression. Here's the other thing too, no one has used that turret yet. The turret is when you decide to put down your stake and say, we want this control point now.
Tis still holding the spot for now, but has to move off, eating quite a bit of damage here. Pulse Bomb comes in. Here comes the recall as Arcana is being attacked, and he goes down. Great kill by Gen.G as Tyrande gets the first blood.
Incredible read there by Sake. Resets the next focus there for Hasawas, but Arthas is actually the next one to fall as Gen.G finds 2 kills.
What a great start into this fight by Gen.G. The Korean team playing exceptionally well here. The attack against Garrosh by Tracer, trying to get the damage out, just simply dropping the pulse bomb and saying, okay, let's drop them low, force them back, and then the immediate play by Tis, the recall just not enough. Tyrande was there, and an easy kill against Arcana, followed up by a kill against the Eternal. Gen.G taking control of the first objective early on.
Team Liquid will have one more chance to fight over this. They're going to get the turret to make sure they're bolstering out that fight so they can move forward. But it is a situation that is definitely uphill for them. Gen.G controlling what they can here on the left, starting their own turret as well. 91% to 25%. Team Liquid comes in for one last stand.
Tis gets pushed off, but here comes Kyoja starting to move in. Overtime has started. This is a chance for Team Liquid. They try to make it happen. Already zoning out the opponent with the Arcane. But here comes Tis. They're dropping the first turret, and Gen.G is tapping at the fountain. Gonna go for the pre-tap before they re-engage into the battle.
Team Liquid has won the turret war, though. They have 2 turrets down. Team Liquid trying their best to grab this point, but Tis has been so hard to push off, so durable there. Another combo comes out, tossing support building to the side here. Also, at the same time, a mine coming in to hit Arcana, but Arcana able to recall away.
Rich put under pressure, but we have the healing beacon on the ground already. Billy moved away. It was great play, actually, on the side of Gen.G. After the flip, the Iron Skin got activated, but already the mine was there from Junkrat. Now Gen.G again on the point, trying to go for the Protector. Here comes that flip. Billy needs to be careful. The Condemn comes out. Arcana in the back, looks for the kill, but he doesn't get it. Rich moves away and escapes.
But they have pushed him away. Kyoja, though, on the back line, goes in for Nurok. Nurok getting hit there. The big grab breaker. There's one, there's 2. As Gen.G finds more kills, and they're looking for a 3rd.
They're going for it. They take him down. Arthur's dead. We have Leoric as a trade, but that's not going to be enough for Team Liquid. The Protector on the ground. Billy barely escaping with the Iron Skin, but Gen.G with 5 kills against 1, and the objective moves through the middle.
Gen.G showing exceptional control. Great play there by Tyrande. Sake landing those lunar flares, and the pure control there by Garrosh as well. Tist on this Garrosh is devastating.
Level 10 already in their hands, and Gen.G is just blazing apart here. Fantastic play by them up to this point. The Willing Vessel taken out on 7 also for Leoric. They have the tents in play. They can try and go for that Entomb, for that taunt, for that arrow engage. Liquid has to be so careful. They still do not have heroic abilities.
This is horrible for Team Liquid. Immediately the Protector starts to run the top side. That middle fort already down to half HP, but Gen.G taking these wells and taking everything they can in space, waiting for that big combo to come out of the Protector. At the same time, you have Junkrat floating around the side here, ready with that Riptire, ready to find a kill.
It's an absolute horrible position for Team Liquid to be in. Not only do you lose the Protector, you're far behind in experience, and that level 10 allows Gen.G so much engage with the Hanzo arrow. The Warlord's Challenge is such a great tool if you get close enough to any of these heroes.
In the middle, Arcana coming down to help his teammate Eternal, who's in trouble. Riptire comes out. I thought Fortune's going to help, but Eternal's low on health, and he has no army of the dead. Boom, there he goes. Gen.G finds a 6th kill.
And once again, here comes the arrow. They go for Hazops, and the warp comes in just in time to save the Phoenix. This is taking a couple of shots off the fort, but still, we're having Liquid now finally with level 10. Ready to fight back. The Tornado is there. They're trying to go for Kyoja.
Well, that's a shield. There goes Arcana. There goes a punch. Big salvo comes out. Kyoja might fall. No, he gets away. At the same time, Sport Billy trying to retreat using the Iron Skin. Team Liquid just cannot find these kills.
Gen.G keeping everyone alive, and you're so right. Liquid cannot find the kills right now. And they have shown over and over again that they're absolutely happy to fight against a talent advantage if they feel they have a good position in a battle. They go in, they try and get the kill and move out. In the past, they've oftentimes been punished for it. They were trying to go for kills, they get it, but then on the retreat, they lose more. In this case now, it's all about the battle for level 13 and the second objective towards the top.
It's really showing in the composition. Gen.G has speed on their side. They have the ability to find one target and pick it off quickly between that 100 mark. Hanzo damage, Garrosh coming in for the flip, and they've been so effective at it. Team Liquid needs to find a way to mitigate that, slow that down.
And Liquid now with level 10 has a bit of a fighting chance. It's just that huge gap in experience that we are seeing between the two teams that will make it much easier for Gen.G to dominate the battleground from here on out. Poke war is already happening here in the middle, but we still have Arthurs deciding, do I have to rotate in here? Can we force a fight? Do I land that Howling Blast, or do I go for the camp?
It's a Howling Blast, but it's on Leoric. He can Wraith walk away at any point. Team Liquid can start backing up and soaking here as Gen.G continues to group up as 5. When they have an experienced lead, they typically do this. They dare you to come fight them on even terms. Gen.G building towards that 13.
I mean, you can see how they immediately try to force the fight as they hit level 10. They put the Tornado out, the Blessed Shield as a follow-up, and then they try to go for Leoric. They could not get the kill, but they are still hovering around here as Gen.G picks up level 13.
Tis holding that front side. 13 finally connects here. It's all about those turrets being picked up here by Gen.G. That next control point will be up soon. Team Liquid at the same time working on theirs, but Gen.G is equipping themselves for an invade.
They're going for the item nomination here. They're going in deep. Have they overstepped though? Arthas with a flank, and all of a sudden here comes Arcana. He wants the kill. He might get it. The shields are out, but Tis is still low.
Eternal on the back line. Over the Deathman pop. There's that Riptire 2, and Tomb comes out. But Hasu's able to escape, but Sportbilly all by his lonesome trying to retreat. Here comes the Scatter Rose. Here comes the Dragon's Arrow. Can there be a follow-up here from Rich? No kills coming out, but Gen.G still brings the evade, and they're still healthy.
Arcana immediately moving in front of his teammates, trying to make sure that even if Rich has another shot available, that he's going to soak most of the damage here. But a great invade by Gen.G. Liquid again looking for the kill, and Tis was solo as Arcana makes his move, but it was not enough to drop Garrosh.
Perfect timing on the Indomitable too to make sure he gets pulled in by that Lornado. Had that Lornado connected, Tist would have definitely fallen. Gen.G able to use their cooldowns to make sure they get priority in most of these team fights, but Team Liquid is right on their heels, building forward that level 13. Eternal finally finishing that quest as well.
Of course, at this point, you give over some of the control point to the top, and then you aim for a fight on even talents. Cooldowns, super important here as well, and both of the teams are still looking at roughly 20 seconds before all of them are going to be up again. But Gen.G has advantages already. They're looking at more items. They have more under their control. And also they destroyed their opponent's fountain topside, so they can always pre-tab going into the battle, whereas Team Liquid just simply doesn't have that option.
And they're in full control of the control point. 63% and building. Team Liquid has to make a play soon, and they're waiting for that level 13, which should be able to come towards them on that top side. Gen.G right now thinking about making the fight, though, as Tis stepping up on Sportbilly. Sportbilly holding on that Iron Skin, waiting for the perfect moment to use it.
13 is there, but Arcana is already a bit low. Nuruk is trying his best to top him up as quickly as he can. Again, position already taken here. Overtime has started. Gen.G can always move back to the fountain, and they will look for it. But for now, Liquid is still holding that position. They're going for the kill. They're trying to find it here. The Riptide is already out. The Lornado in play. They go for a reset, but he moves out.
Gets out with that Ripper Rare at the same time. Kyo just stepping up, holding that forward front side, going in for the N2. Gets the lockdown. Big time coming in too. And there goes Arthas as the Lich King is destroyed. Sportbilly all by himself in the back line as he's trying to find a way out.
Billy trying to escape, but there's no hope. Both of the frontliners destroyed as Johanna falls. Phoenix nearly falling as the first victim in the fight, but Liquid could at least keep him alive here. Tough times for them. They have troubles getting these kills, and they have also a huge problem keeping their frontliners alive as the fight just goes on.
Gets better for Gen.G, but worse for Team Liquid. Now forts are starting to fall, and Gen.G, who had a 2-level lead already, is about to extend that lead more. Moving towards that level 16, opening the fort they damaged earlier, that mid fort, that's about to get picked off. Now the question is, will they step forward and try to get a keep wall? They can look at that top side, or even just take all 3 forts, and they're going to elect the latter of the options. Going to the bottom lane and clearing that well.
Yeah, they're so far ahead already. The 16 talent here is so crucial for them right now, since it gives them such a huge advantage heading into these fights. And Liquid somehow has to find isolation kills now. They're trying to look for experience first of all. They're giving up the bot lane, but Gen.G, they are now of course taking the map. They have that advantage. They are absolutely willing to engage into even team fights, and at the same time they still rely on their protector to break through the bottom wall. And with the next objective spawning bot side, they are already prepping to end the game with Protector number 3.
Yeah, Gen.G's mindset should be, okay, this game is already over. We just need to make sure we don't feed it, and we should be good to go. On the other side, Team Liquid, they're probably thinking about that level 16. Let's get to level 16, and then we force a fight. Team Liquid has shown time and time again, if they are behind when they move into the 3rd control point phase, and that Protector's about to come up, they take the fight before the Protector shows up, because they feel like the game is already done at that point.
This is always this weird limbo, when you want level 16 to be able to fight, but your opponent is starting to rush towards 20. So when do you take that battle? And Liquid, they realize they might have to fight at a talent disadvantage. So they're already skirting around here just to see, do we maybe collapse onto someone that is a bit far out? But Gen.G, they don't make any positional mistakes right now.
Gen.G fully confident stepping up on this turret here. Eternal comes in for a flank. Arcade on the back line. They're going straight in for their own kill. Getting the damage reduction. Sake in trouble. Riptire comes in, and suddenly we have a Tirana down.
Sake is down, but so is Tracer. Arcana just fell, and once again, the Liquid is looking for the follow-up kill, but they lose Johanna. Gen.G with 10 kills against 2. The arrow comes out. Tist is there. They're looking for more, but it's already a positive trade.
Team Liquid able to get some experience off that. They're trying to find another one, though. Reset gets out and jumps to the conveyor belt. Hasselhoff's in trouble. Warps away. Will he get a potion? No! Rich comes in and delivers an arrow. Rich, kill you.
Eternal with a counter kill, though. He takes down Junkrat, but he himself also dies. 16 against 18 here. Liquid down 4 heroes at this point. But there's still a chance that they can fight on 16 talents once again. But team fights, and not really ending in their favor. 12 kills to 3 paint a very clear picture.
Things are not looking up for Team Liquid, that is for sure. But Gen.G already setting themselves up for that end game, going for that biotic emitter, already clearing that up. Control point will be up soon, building towards that level 20. And a level and a half until they'll hit that. Team Liquid, when they spawn, have to go on the offensive. We'll see if they'll be able to get that engage they've been looking for.
I mean, they have now access to locked and loaded for Tracer. That's going to help a little bit. We have at the same time also just a couple of the talents that really help you to sustain yourself through a fight. Look at Johanna, going for the Holy Renewal here. That's definitely going to help to some extent. Embrace Death here. Both of the frontliners have suffered, but you can see how Liquid is now being aggressive. They know that at this point, this is the best possible fight they can ever get in this game. They know once that Gen.G hits 20, they're going to be in even more trouble. But as long as both teams are on 16 talents, even with a 3-level disadvantage, Liquid knows now we have to push it. Invade the opponent's camp, take their items, try and force that battle and hope that Gen.G takes it.
Gen.G's not going to take it though. Why would they? 19 and a quarter here, you just wait for that control point to pop up. Even at this stage, if Team Liquid were to get on the control point now, if it were available to them, Gen.G can still got that level 20 by double soaking. They have the ability to, especially with that Junkrat, to do it in a safe manner.
The only reason why Gen.G would take a fight at this point is that there's something on the map that they say, okay, this is worth either fighting for, or they feel they have a good position heading into the battle. Liquid is going to try and force it, but you can already see 27 seconds on the timer, half a level away.
Rich, Blessing kill comes out, but he dodges it with a natural agility. Hanzo skedaddles, and Rich starts to run in the bottom lane, and still time is ticking. 19.5 experience here.
And that's a big cooldown burn too. Now you don't have that engage roll anymore through the Blessed Shield. That's definitely an issue for them. But Gen.G is very likely to still wait out until they have level 20. And that could just be enough time for Johanna to rely on her heroic ability once more.
Look at Kyoja, set up for that 20, soak in the top lane. Tiss, the only one here on the control point. Rich, maybe overstepping a little bit, but he's feeling pretty darn confident. And after how he's been playing so far,
Eternal moving in, trying to look for that flank again with his Arthas. They're trying to be aggressive, but Hazops is already in trouble. Has to warp away. Arcana with a bomb and the recall. Here comes the Tondo. They want the kill and they get it. Duranda is down.
Team Liquid able to find that kill. Can they find a second on Tiss? No, he gets away, but they got the tank low on health and he has to tap. And no support means that Team Liquid can poke from afar.
Tiss is unkillable. That guy just doesn't die. Every time Liquid goes in, there's that shield popping up, and all of a sudden Garrosh just walks away. Not a worry in the world. But Liquid now have a little bit more time. Can they grab the objective? Can they gain some momentum here? Take a few structures, maybe get 20 themselves with a protector, or is Gen.G gonna shut them down?
I am worried that it might not be enough here. They're still building up here to the 40%. Gen.G's trying to pull Team Liquid away from that point to buy more time for Sake to spawn as they shield themselves on the turret, but here's the engage, condition comes out. Team Liquid steps forward, and at the same time, Hatsup is trying to find a kill.
Garrosh once again walking away here. The Entomb in the ground, the buried alive. Arthas goes down. Can Liquid get a counter kill? Tiss is low. He's once again so low, but does he die? No, he does not. Instead, Johanna falls.
Tiss is unkillable. Hasselhoff is trying to make up for it. He steps up, but he's down too. That's going to be a total of 3 as Team Liquid takes a 5v4, but Gen.G turns it around.
Arcana!
Arcana top it off. He's showing off that Tracer.
He's going for the triple kill. Arcana taking them down. They don't have the Storm talents, but they have the plays. Arcana is saying, I've had enough. Goes in, takes down 3, kills the unkillable, takes down Garrosh, and Liquid is only a few inches away from getting level 20s themselves.
This is the moment that you look at your position in the game and you say, wait a minute, this game is winnable. 19 3/4, they have 47% on that control point. Tracer running down to grab the point now and build up towards that 20. Team Liquid could turn this around.
Arcana and Anua going up against Sake and Reset, but keep in mind, there is a Leoric on the field and it will respawn right there on the point, so Gen.G is going to take this over, at least for a little bit. Liquid looking for more experience. Arcana at the front trying to get that XP. They need the Storm talents right now. It's going to be a 5 versus 5 eventually again.
If you're Gen.G though, that's what you can look at and say, okay, we have a chance here. Those last 2 points that Team Liquid were able to pull off is because of a number advantage. They were able to find those moments and push in. Gen.G is going to wait for all 5, step up, and actually try to fight this against Team Liquid.
Liquid was 3 levels behind. They were so far behind. There was no hope. And then Arcana stepped up to the plate after we saw Arthas die. And now Liquid on the move to maybe get the first protector for their side for this game. But Gen.G is back on the map in force.
Keep your eye on Kyoja. He's the one that's going to look for that big buried alive alive. Look for that big silence. Slow down that back line. If he can hit Haswabs in particular, he can be blown up. Gen.G already stepping forward, and here comes Tis to get on that point.
Gen.G is already there. They want this, and you know they can pull out these kills. But there's the Protector already. The Blessed Shield comes out. Junkrat is down. Team Liquid with a salvo, with a protection, and now we have Liquid on the move through that bottom of the map.
How is Team Liquid doing this? They find another pick, and now with the Protector, they can definitely get this for it. They can definitely step up that keep wall, but can they start moving towards a game? Do they slow down and go to the next fourth control point? Team Liquid automatically taking that for it, and here comes the rest of the poke from Hanzo. He's got to make sure he clears the Protector.
They're going for the keep at least. If they can't get a kill here, they might even be able to get the game. Gen.G knows it. 30 more seconds until the Junkrat is back. And that's also the best poke that Gen.G has. They lost that poke. And they have to be careful here at the bot lane. They are, but here comes once again the Protector. They're going for the keep right now. Team Liquid on the move.
Going for that keep, looking for that catapult pressure, getting it down to half health, showing away. Hasso from that back left, and looking out for Kyocho as being a spooky ghost. The keep is getting lower. Oh my gosh, Rich able to get out low on health, but he's not going to be there for damage, which gives Team Liquid that chance to finally take that keep, and they'll take the first keep of the game.
Gen.G is so unbelievably good. Rich once again escaping, Test again not dying, but Liquid is looking at that core. They're thinking about it. They feel like, guys, can we take it? Can we take it? Right now they're trying to. The Entomb is still up. The shields are falling. Team Liquid looking for the play.
They're so spread out right now. Kyoto steps up. Oh no, Arthas has fallen. Arcaner jumping onto the court, but the shields are still there. Arcaner has to back away, starting to retreat. But here comes Kyoto on the side, goes in for the big slow. Kyoto's low on health. He gives up the drain home.
And they're going for it once again. The kill is nearly there.
Arcaner!
5 versus 4. Arcaner goes down. Lyric falls, but that's not going to be enough.
Sport Billy trying to retreat here. Team Liquid has to decide, can they get away here? Do you sacrifice somebody?
Nurok
down for the scroll, but Nurok will be the next to fall. Lunaflare comes out, and Rich is on the chase.
And Gen.G is on the move as well. They are trying to move through the bot lane right now. Liquid still has that keep, but here comes the flip, and Hazorps should fall here. Kept alive a bit longer through his Storm Talent. Reset already on the move towards the right side of the map. It's only Johanna has the blinds here, but there are still 4 heroes down for TL.
Now Gen.G is asking the question, do we have enough damage here to go through the keep? Yes, you certainly do. You have that turret as well, but can they go straight in for a core? Kyocha is about to be back. Sport Billy floating around here. Gonna try and slow them down as much as he can.
Arthas will be back soon. He should be back for the defense. And then we have Tracer also popping up in just a bit. But Gen.G takes down the keep, starts moving in. Billy, he has to buy time, but he can't die here. Here comes the Entomb, the perfect play. They're going for it, and Johanna goes down.
Next will be a Eternal here as he's being slowed down. He's trying to do his best here to get away from all of Gen.G. There's that Army of the Dead. Arcaner is back. He goes up the Riptire. There goes the party gift as well. He gets the recall. Gen.G has yet to do damage to the core, and now they're thinking twice about it.
They're buying time. Look at Nurok. He's back to business now as well. Phoenix in another 10 seconds is going to be here too. And Gen.G shows the respect. They're moving away. They're not going for it.
This game has gotten ridiculous. A 3-level lead was in the favor of Gen.G. They were on their way to level 20, but Team Liquid has brought it back, and they have slowed them down. Both teams have lost a keep. There is catapult pressure in the bottom lane, but we are going to a 4th control point.
Possible 4 more games like this? Hell yeah, sign me up. That's a great start into our first semi-final here today. And Liquid and Gen.G are neck to neck after we had Gen.G with a dominant performance in the early game.
And one thing that we haven't talked about, that level 20 finally coming on there for Arcaner, get stuck. That gives you the ability to jump on top of Hanzo and try to delete him. If you don't have the heal come in from Toronto on time, we could have Rich deleted by Arcaner.
Also, the bottomless flask is going to be absolutely fantastic now for Nurok. Whenever they set up around an objective, when they try to siege up at the core again, that is such a huge tool in Team Liquid's arsenal. 20 kills against 9. Gen.G done so well in the early and mid game, but right now towards the end, the 2 teams are dead even.
We talked about Team Liquid's level 20s, but don't forget about play of the game also for Hanzo. Hanzo can look at that bottom lane, get the advantage when it comes to those catapults, get that bottom lane pushing in, stretch Team Liquid thin, and then come across the map with the play of the game. So Gen.G definitely in a position here to deal with what Team Liquid has.
And all eyes are again on Arcaner. He's the one that made it happen with a triple kill when things looked dire. When Liquid was about to lose the Protector and then maybe even the game. Can Arcaner do it again? Can he take down Rich? Can he take down a Saka or a Reset? That's a big question here.
do or die for both these teams here in game number 1. The 4th control point will definitely end this match. Team Liquid stepping up, but Gen.G not reaching yet. Finally, Tiss has to back away.
Bottomless Flask, a huge tool, but we still have a Fountain for Gen.G in the mid lane, and that's a massive advantage for them. They have that pre-tap available. They also have the healing beacon that they can use here, and everybody is scared of the ult that we could see from Leoric at any point.
Lonado comes out, but misses on Tiss. Haswab's in trouble. There's the play in the game. Low on up. He gets stunned out. Does he have the uncomfortable spirit? He does. Will he be able to warp away? Haswab trying to retreat. He is fine. The potions came in, but Arcaner, he needs a few himself.
Arcaner is low, and so is Haswab's. They need to move back. They need to move into the middle. They need to tap at the Fountain and then re-engage here. A lot of cooldowns already burned. If they can engage now, as Leoric is still waiting for the Buried Alive to come back online, they might be able to make that aggressive play.
Perfect approach there from Gen.G. They still have taunt available, but Team Liquid's about to also have that Lonado back. Another big toss comes out from Garrosh as the rest of Gen.G backs up. They're watching carefully for Haswabs.
Billy moving in. Arcana zoned out the entire time. Kyoja is keeping an eye on him. Once again, the lockdown here. Their kill potential against Kyoja. The salvo comes through. It's not quite enough, and Haswabs has to retreat.
Kyoja still alive too, but Tom finally comes in. It's gonna be on Sport Billy, but it gets the indestructible. Able to back away and get on those potions. Those bottomless potions are paying off for Team Liquid.
They definitely do, but Liquid is incredibly low right now, and they don't have any option to heal up outside of Norok anymore. They can't tap on those fountains any longer. They're looking for the kill, but look at Gen.G. They're nearly at full health, and again, the Entomb is up.
For Billy topping off with Mimosas, but
Reptile!
There goes the Dragon's Arrow. Here it is, and Johanna is down. Arcaner trying to find an angle. He's going in for Kyoja, but Kyoja getting the heals in from Duranda.
What a beautiful combo by Gen.G. Extremely well executed there. Everything popped at the same time. Rich is again alive! No, oh my god, we have again Arcana with a play attempt, but it's not enough. They're still fighting. It's 5 versus 4. They're looking for this, and they take him down!
It's gonna be a 1-for-1. Kyoja on the top side getting healed up, but Gen.G constantly poking. But look at the ticking here. 86% for Team Liquid. If anyone gives up this point, it's going over a team. Rich trying to back away. Rich low on health, but next is Socket. Death Coil comes out.
They get it!
And they get the Protector!
Team Liquid gets the Protector in game number 1 against Gen.G. 26 minutes into the game, and they are on their way to victory.
Team Liquid marching in the bottom lane. Gen.G needs to get here. They need to get damage on it, but it looks like they might not even have a chance. Gen.G had to fully stack up, but Team Liquid in game number 1, they are doing the impossible. They are taking Gen.G here in game 1 as they jump off the core. The Protector is going to destroy Caldor.
Gen.G is trying to burn it down. They're burning it down so quickly. Hands over the work. Their shields are gone. Team Liquid are going for the victory.
30!
Are taking
it's going down!
1 against Gen.G.
They got it!
Taking the lead in the series against the Korean powerhouse.
If you looked at all 4 teams today in the semifinals, everyone was probably counting a Team Liquid out, but they just made a statement. We are here to play, and if you ever sleep on us, we are gonna pull out a game that they were 3 levels behind Caldor.
I have no idea what to say here. This is unbelievable. The crowd going wild as Liquid starts the comeback, and then those massive team fights that we just had towards the end. The last Protector, an endless battle, and the bottomless Flask. Even after they lost the hero, after they lost Johanna, Liquid still staying around, and they find that kill.
I want some of what Team Liquid had, which happened to be bottomless Flask, because man, those came in handy in the last fight.
They are probably the only reason they were able to hold on to that final skirmish at all and be able to get that turnaround kill onto the Garrosh, and that was absolutely the only reason they were able to cover on that the 4th control point there in the 2nd control point A.
I have to ask you guys, Gen.G taking that 45 in the bottom right corner around the turret. I understand the idea behind it. You get on top of the turret and you say, hey, come over here, you waste some time on the control point and wait your 5th member to spawn. But Gen.G, are they a little bit too confident with their ability to win team fights?
I mean, I would say I think a little bit yes, but I would actually argue in that moment that was genius. They lose that game if they give up that control point on bottom completely.
Well, don't you have that very fight to show us?
Yes, and that's what we're going to bring to light here is a lot of this, I think, the decision making on the side of Gen.G, and it was very genius. I would argue how long they held that around here, and the biggest thing is, again, the 20 into the 18 and the fact that they are down a Tyrande. 30 seconds until that is going to be available. So as you can see, all the members of Gen.G down here Clumping is going to try and find a way to catch anybody on Liquid to overextend whatsoever. So we're going to go ahead and run this forward. And the biggest thing to be looking at is how good they are at using the Leoric and the Garrosh, the armor of the Garrosh and the debuff of the Leoric, and then use that tight corridors to get an Entomb split. And that is where I would argue this is clever play from Gen.G. The question is, do they stick around a little bit too long to allow Liquid to hold their own? And again, they move up through the corridor. There you see the hard initiation, and they look at Kyocha. He is immediately spreading a debuff across the board. You see the throwback there from Garrosh, and then an Entomb in a matter of seconds is going to secure that Liquid is getting a 4 versus 5, but it's essentially Gen.G splitting them and saying, this is a 4 versus 4. We have got this. Once this kill is acquired, though, it is the disengage that we've got to be looking as we can move ahead in full speed. Nobody is able to make it out very safely. Rich actually taking a very interesting natural agility direction. And look at that, Kyocha diving deeper back into this fight. That was a moment where they have a 5 versus 3 to pick up control point C for free, and I would argue that is likely going to be game beyond that point. Great job, though, from Liquid, holding on, realizing the situation, and recovering what felt like an irrecoverable game.
What I always say about Gen.G is that you can beat them once in a fight. It's beating them twice in a row. Yeah. That's when you're actually starting to make moves, and it was beyond that. Gen.G were willing to do things like the Buried Alive, things that would force out things like Unconquered Spirit, even Indestructible. But the fact that Team Liquid were very understanding of, like, we've now lost this resource. We must fight. And on that final control point, being willing to get back in the fight, that's something that I don't think Gen.G would be expecting from Team Liquid here.
The fact that they never gave up is really what stood out to me. You are so far behind. You basically lost the game at that point. You're trying to get kills over and over again. You go for Tis, and that guy just doesn't die. He just stands there and takes it. And that they were able to just stick around, it was an amazing game. And I have to point out one quick fact. We had Hanzo with 170,000 damage in that game. Rich just absolutely destroying. Second best was Tracer with merely 90,000. It is incredible how much poke he got through.
You have to remember that Gen.G are the top of the region. They've been their top of the region for a long time. And though there are teams that can bring fights to them, once they get a lead, they are so used to being able to steamroll their opponents. And they have got to change that mentality versus teams that will bring a fight to them, like Team Liquid, like Miracle, because that's when things start to fall apart from them. Gen.G have a moment as we're going to hear a word from our sponsors when we come back, Game 2.
The 2018 HGC Finals are brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Corsair, T-Mobile, Samsung SSD, and NVIDIA.
When Team Liquid and Gen.G faced off in the group stage, Volskaya Foundry went to Gen.G despite Team Liquid picking it. It's a place where they can feel comfortable to be able to get team fights, start that snowball, but it didn't work out for them on this map. How scared are we for our current world champion, Dreadnought?
I don't honestly know. That game started so exactly as you would expect, especially control point A, once you saw Rich able to get away, and then you see the counter engage, and suddenly you're like, okay, this is the full level lead, here's the 2 level lead, and here's the 3. And the moments of recovery from Liquid were the picks onto the backliners. We saw Sake get caught multiple times, Hanzo was having a hard time there for Rich, and the reset at the very end on the Junkrat. And all those characters are the win conditions for Liquid, but I feel like if I am Gen.G, I can go, guys, we got a little hyphy, all right? All right, bring it back here, calm down, and we likely are going to be a little bit more calculated and still obtain those early game control like we saw in Volskaya.
Well, Gen.G has the choice of Battleground or first pick. Let's see what they choose. Trick, what were you wanting to add to that?
I completely agree with that there. I think you look at Gen.G and you say, you know what? We screwed up. It happens. It's a game 1. It's the beauty of a best-of-5 series, right? You're allowed to have a couple of moments say, let's clean this up and play better. I think Gen.G is still probably the better team today. But with that being said, Team Liquid can also make sure the early game is much more fluid.
I can also tell you that Liquid is going to look at this and it's like, guys, let's forget about game 1 that didn't happen, take the next map. They're not going to get overconfident or anything just because they won a map. They know that they need a lot more than only make one big comeback happen. So we have Towers of Doom chosen. It's again the map choice of Liquid. This is a battleground where they played a lot of different strategies. We've seen everything here in Europe, starting with Abathar, the Vikings. You've seen Simuro plays here. This is a map where in Europe we've even seen the Valera Zeratul set up. So this could become a little bit crazy, and it's definitely one of the maps where Liquid very much feels at home, very similar to Volskaya.
They usually have a trend here of making sure to play for the late game. They are willing to give a couple ultras in the early game to find that half-level lead, full-level lead. Eternal really likes shot calling the idea of getting a bell tower taken in the top left corner, or even take some experience off their opponents, so I'm expecting Team Liquid to play for that late game.
But I would argue when you're looking for the late game on Towers of Doom versus the late game of Volskaya Foundry, it does not add up the exact same. Yes, you might be able to recover, but your ability to win a team fight and then suddenly go, this game is ours on any other battleground is a very realistic option, like on Volskaya. But here, it's like, well, how many Bell Towers can I convert? Sometimes that answer is just kind of one and maybe an extra shot in the downtime. Yes, it gains control in the long run, but it kind of brings back that you have to be able to beat Gen.G twice in a fight, and this map endorses that philosophy very heavily.
It's a big Dehaka map for the Team Liquid as well. They love to run Eternal on Dehaka on this map, and he had great engagement there in the past. You can already show the respect that Gen.G has, especially for Noroki with the Decade Kane ban coming in. We have Sport BDs, Garrosh being banned out, so you can see Decade Kane taken away. So really trying to limit some of the comfort picks that Liquid usually resorts to.
Well, one of those comfort picks would be if Deckard's gone, if Tyranda's gone, Malfurion. I'm wondering if they will be willing to pick Malfurion this high, or if they will subject themselves to another support choke. Didn't work out for them versus Heroes Hearth Esports when they had White Mane.
I think if not having the Garrosh is going to limit the Malfurion viabilities drastically. They're going to be going into the Diablo route here, but just mainly because Garrosh and Malfurion have that soft synergy and the fact that, you know, the trickle in healing is not going to remove a large portion of the armor and make sure you get maximum value out of his passive there. But denying the Rainer, I think, is a very smart play coming out from Liquid here in their 1-2 to make sure that that does not go over the reset.
I couldn't agree more. Like, I've been talking all week in the opening week too about how high that Rainer priority is for any green team, but even more so for Gen.G. And Team Liquid immediately saying, okay, we're going to take that for ourselves is fantastic here. They have the Diablo with it, they have that engage potential. So I'm very, very happy with the first rotation of Liquid in the draft.
And this is one thing that we didn't get in the last game that's a bit more to the same priority that we expected from Gen.G coming into the series, or at least I did. The high Tyrande, standard for a lot of teams at this tournament, but then that Yrel, that was something missing in the 2-3 from Gen.G on the last Battleground that I expect to see from them. Yes, the Leo in the back end I feel like helped when it came to the wave clear recovery and what they needed, but this is more the playstyle and the comforts here of Gen.G in this draft.
And they equip themselves in a position that if Team Liquid does go for that Dehaka later on, Yrel can match that. She brings out the wave clear, but also gives that double soaking too. She can move into the Divine Steed if need be as well. And of course, the armor is always wonderful for that main front line that we're getting. And I'm assuming we might actually see a Nubrak later on here for Gen.G to really force these fights.
I think that's very, very realistic here, and being able to deny the Jaina, even though, yes, you have natural spell armor, I would argue Jaina is still one of the few mages that can just burst down in a Nubrak if you miss that burrow charge, or even if you just don't get the kill in the burrow charge impale combo, you're going to be dealing with a lot of Blizzard there.
It's the second time that they banned Jaina on the third ban position, and keep in mind how that victory for Team Liquid in the group stage against Gen.G actually worked out. That severely hinged on Jaina and Hazop's play there. So this is now a situation where Gen.G is just saying, if we get that free ban against Jaina, we're going to take it every time.
Along with the Anub, do we expect a Li Ming here then to finish out the draft? It's something that Gen.G really likes here, then they would be able to have a Li Ming and Hanzo. That's basically Reset and Rich in a nutshell.
I think it's very, very likely, but this is one of those moments where I go, I feel like that's Korea holding on to kill potential and reset compositions far too long and macro-oriented places. And then look at this, a good old mix-up there, avoiding that macro concern that I was having, finding ways to compensate with the Tyrael and the Sergeant Hammer. But I will say, I think it's a lot harder to execute this playstyle and that kind of mismatch between the Hammer and Tyrande playstyles for this draft of Gen.G.
But with Hammer comes Tyrael for Gen.G. Last pick for Team Liquid. Waiting on Nurak, and it still will be Malfurion.
When you're looking again as a triple frontline setup, it's something that we kind of expected a little bit, maybe even on the last map when they then made a different choice when it came to more damage. But that triple melee lineup is something that is very much Team Liquid. It has been their identity for a long time in Phase 2, and Tyrael with the Sanctification plays very well into that. Outside of the Sanctification, though, you are going to have some trouble. You have a Leoric with CC, you have an Arthas there, you have a Thrall, so there's a lot of engage potential that we now see for Liquid where they can try and follow it up with a quick kill. I mean, even the Malfurion laying down the roots here, so they have a lot of CC to stack.
Yeah, how's Hasu's flanks? Because I see an Arthas and a Thrall, and I see a Sergeant Hammer on their side, and I get excited.
The flanks are going to be very important. I mean, obviously, when you're running a Jaina, you have that flank style that you typically go for, so Hasu is very capable of pulling that off. But the Sun Rings are really going to be key here. They got to land on point. You got to make sure you split somebody out, and then Diablo get that follow-up to get a kill. If that doesn't happen, I see Gen.G bouncing back and really destroying the team fight.
Yeah, and one person that I'm going to be looking at for Gen.G because of all the crowd control, though yes, Sanctification is amazing into the Malfurion, the Arthas Arthas and the Diablo, and debatably the Thrall, but it's a little bit harder of a matchup. All 4 of them on the same roster, not enough sanctification in the world to be able to deal with that. So the guy who has to not only keep the team alive, but break everything up is Kyocha. He's going to be giving over the armor, and more importantly, when he throws a hammer, he needs to make sure that the initiation is never on the same page from Team Liquid. Half of them come in, Kyocha goes, half of you go right back out.
Yeah.
Team Liquid already up 1-0 against our current world champions. Can they make it a 2-0 and put us on match point? Let's find out.
That's right. Team Liquid up 1-0 over Gen.G. But Gen.G, they pull out the big boys. Hammer coming out for them.
Yeah, the thing is, though, they are now behind. That doesn't happen too often to them, especially when we're talking about offline tournaments. And right now, with them identifying already before the group stage started that Team Liquid is one of the teams they're worried about, you have to ask yourself, is there a little bit of doubt in the back of their heads at this point? Or do they just shrug off that last loss and say, like, yeah, that's fine, we made a mistake? But if there's that little tiny voice...
There has to be a little bit of doubt, because they talked about it, as you mentioned, right before we started this entire tournament. They went 1-1 in the group stages against them, and now they're down 0-1. There's got to be something there for Gen.G, but here on the left side, in the blue, Kyocha on Urel, Reset on Hanzo, Rich on Hammer, Tist on Tyrael, and Sake on Tyrande. It's Gen.G!
And over to the right. With a lead in the series, Billy on a Diablo for the red team. Eternal again for the second time in a row on Arthas. Arcana on the auto attack with Jim Reyna. Norok on Malfurion and Hazov's on Thrall. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Team Liquid!
I'm very curious what the game plan is around the Sapper camps for both these teams. When it comes to Europe, Sapper camps are always important. You usually want to grab those, typically how they invade come in, but Tyrael isn't the best invading, especially early game, when it comes to trying to force those situations, especially with the Diablo on the opposing side. So Team Liquid should be able to control the Sapper camps. Can Gen.G clear them enough?
They definitely should have a really good shot there, especially with the dominance here through that super hit point heavy front line. Once that Billy has stacks together. Talking about Billy, immediately trying to make a bit of a play here to put the damage onto Rich, flipping over into the roots of Norok. And Arcana with a follow-up damage. We're going to see a lot of that, trying to home in here. I feel you have to shift targets later on a bit, since Rich is going to pick up those siege tactics on level 4. But if you can at any point go onto Tyrande, for example, that would be a priority target.
You need to just switch targets just in general because of the armor available for Sergeant Hammer. Being able to pop that in the middle of the fight. I mean, that's why Rich survived there. He got a heal from Tyrande and took nearly a quarter damage tops there from Team Liquid. But it is still a combo that is scary, one that we'll see often from them. Gen.G automatically rotating up here to the left side, looking at that Sapper camp.
With all this CC that we've been talking about earlier, I really like that we have the immediate Celestial Attunement for Tyrande here as a level 1, so that's going to help to at least mitigate some of that pressure that Team Liquid is able to put out. Right now, camps taken early on. It's still interesting to me that we do not see Tehaka for Liquid, but they want to have a more beefy frontline right now, and that Arthas allows for them to force a lot of fights and really make great plays here. But it's going away a little bit from what they prioritized in the past, where they're more so worried about macro game and love to keep Eternal up at the top side.
Part of it might be those buffs that Arthas got, just feeling a little bit more tanky. Kyocha, though, rotating all the way from that top lane. Both Arthas and Thrall are currently soaking right now, while Gen.G is grouping up as 5 early here, trying to make sure those Sappers are able to push forward and at least break down that turret wall.
I mean, let's face it, at this point, my eyes on Gen.G. How to react they after the last game already, putting in the pressure here, trying to siege up with Rich. It's about the bottom lane control. That's what they're looking for right now. Drop that bell tower, try to establish control, and then run the camps.
They get that wall open, which means later on Sergeant Hammer can start to work on that fort. Kyocha was slowed down on rotation to the top left, though, so Team Liquid takes an experienced lead. Already at 4 and nearly 3/4, while Gen.G has just hit level 4.
And that's always a cool move. If you have someone double soaking lanes and you can interrupt him while he's trying to make the rotation from one to another, you can make sure that they're not grabbing all of the experience as your own wave pushes into their tower. And that's exactly what we saw here. This is why Liquid is now slightly ahead in XP. If they can repeat that play 1 or 2 times, that would be fantastic for them and set themselves ahead here.
Tradition for them. Team Liquid always wanting to build for that late game. I mean, if they see something they do not like when it comes to this ultra phase, they are very comfortable giving up one of the ultras and giving 2 over to their opponents. I want to see how Gen.G is going to be stationing up. They actually still have 4 here in the bottom as Sake sets up and starts to work on that ultra at the same time. Kyocha and the top left already channeling.
Arcana now, of course, in a very different position. He's still the damage dealer, but he doesn't have the mobility.
Reset.
Talking mobility, Reset barely able to move out as he's the prime target for Liquid in this last skirmish.
I don't know what it is about Korean Hanzos, but they just get away with a sliver of health
It's
every
insane, right?
single time. They just respawn so quickly, and that's so hard to do against a Diablo, so gotta give kudos over to Reset there.
It's amazing to to me how good Gen.G is and how well they understand when they need to move out of a fight. At this point, Billy is trying to force them into that battle again, but Tist is playing attention. There's still one ult on the map, but we still see Urel making those rotations topside, and that forces the reaction out of Eternal, who with Arthas is now moving into the middle to grab the experience.
Yeah, both of our Southerners right now are trying to make it lopsided for our teams, but Team Liquid is responding now as Eternal rotates the top. It's back to a 4v4, but Rich is loving this 4v4. Sergeant Hammer loves to have that number be equal between opponents. Sake already here too, also to back him up when Sport Billy tries to go for that engage.
Hand of Freedom, also chosen as the level 4 talent for Urel, incredibly important. We talked CC and we mentioned the Celestial Attunement, but even the adjustment on Urel, giving that movement speed and removing those roots, highly important here to enable plays, maybe an escape as well. So already a lot of defensive tools. And if you think about it, there's just so many layers for Gen.G now. They have a draft that can be extremely dangerous, but it's also to an extent squishy, so you need to be on point. And there is Liquid looking to find a mistake, and they find it. They take down Tyrael as Gen.G just for one moment does not have an answer.
And Sport Billy wants more. He goes in for Rich, but immediately we have the armor coming out. Sport Billy fine, but Reset might be in trouble now. He gets away with the natural agility, but that's what Tyrael is in a nutshell, especially in the early game. If he does not have that Eldrune available, that mobility, he's going to get picked off. Team Liquid finds that kill, and because of it, they open up the wall on the bottom lane.
You see the roots on the ground, and you know that Billy wants to go for it, but he's on half health, and then he just says, guys, this is a bit too risky. Let's not go in here. Currently, Diablo is sitting at 89 souls, so already extremely tanky here, as Liquid has a slightly inexperience, but is a bit behind when it comes to hit points on the core.
Well, we're talking about that combo of going for a Diablo to engage into a root. You also have to have that added layer of Thrall with that Ancestral Wrath coming in there, helping you with that burst. You don't have to put it on a tank. You can put it on anyone there and help you find that one target and blowing it up with a Rainer, peppering afterwards. Usually you'll find those kills.
And talking about Hazorps and his Thrall, the Echo of Elements completed as the level 1 talent. We've seen adjustments with Crash Lightning, especially on Battlefield of Eternity, of course, but he is still running with that added wave clear and poke potential that they have now. Engage, attempt again onto Hammer, but Rich paying attention and not falling for this.
Really enjoying the adjustments from Urel, Divine Steed at level 7 to match this, in fact, even maybe take a lead when it comes to that wave clear and pushing your opponent then. And that's actually gotten Gen.G into a spot where they even on experience. Rich gets comboed here and actually gets hit with a root. Here comes the Wolf as well. Rich trying to escape. He's able to get out, but Team Liquid showing off this kill potential they have.
Oh yeah, and they're trying to execute Hanzo right now, and there comes the kill. As once again, we're seeing Hanzo with the damage output. Fantastic play by Gen.G. The initiation from Liquid, not quite as successful. Celestial Attunement comes out every time. The attempt to go for Hammer, but Gen.G turning it around and dropping the Wachi.
I mean, we talked about it in the draft. If Gen.G is ever engaged upon and they're able to stop that full wall from Team Liquid coming forward, they can turn around and get those kills. That's exactly what happened there to Hasselhoff. We are moving towards that level 10. Gonna be pivotal here for Gen.G, looking for more blow up, but also the Sanctification finally coming online.
I mean, you could see the MO of Liquid. They were going for Hammer multiple times. They're trying to bait out the cooldown of the siege tactics first. Once you have that in position, you can try and make a second attempt, but there's always Tyrande to consider as well. And Gen.G played extremely well around it. So Liquid does not only not get the kill, they also lose one. But we have heroic abilities about to come online, and this is really, as you said, where a lot of this is going to happen. Even in the case of Hyperion now, we're not seeing the Raiders. There's no interrupt, which we see from the Koreans so often. Instead, it's that siege and teamfight potential that Liquid is looking for.
Pick a location and find it. Also, if they're able to get kills, they can go straight for a bell tower afterwards, and opening the map is so important on Towers of Doom. Team Liquid sitting back and playing safe. The look in the middle, Thrall actually cutting away from Urel while Rich is dealing with Sport Billy right now.
They're trying to go for it once again. A good stun attempt here by Tyrande. Thrall not picking his heroic ability either. With a Hyperion in your play, you can definitely make arguments to go into Earthquake here. But of course, Sundering would also be fantastic for the flanks. It is Earthquake as we're seeing them move onto Kyoja. He is low, but he does not fall.
Wow, doesn't pull the Ardent Defender either. Reset on the back, though, going for a bit of a flank here, dropping the Scare Arrow. Is going to be able to jump away thanks to that natural agility, but Rich still holding firm. Team Liquid just not able to break this 4-man of Gen.G.
But at the same time, Nuro just with a play right there. You see the arrow coming from the side, hitting hard, and then the Nature's Cure comes out and immediately drops the Tranquility. So Nuro making sure that this attempt by Gen.G to flank and destroy them did not work out.
But Gen.G at the same time had Reset go straight to the middle lane. He's soaking up that experience. They're starting to take a lead in the experience. There is that altar up and ready to go. Team Liquid will start the channel, but a last-second Tyrande out comes in and kisses Arcaner.
Yes, spot. Billy is now the only one who could have soaked that one, but it didn't quite happen. But there's still a fight going on at the bottom, because right now there's both of these altars still on the map, and Liquid is moving in to see if they can maybe even get a kill here. Once again, Rich is the target, has to pop everything to move away. Eternal trying to walk down Kyoja. He has the fight explodes, engage again, but Arthurs falls first. Gen.G with the coordination.
Army of the Dead way too late. The little player comes with the 100 mark, and that's a kill. And Gen.G has now taken a 5v4. Team Liquid has to back away. Kyoja looking for the ultra on the bottom, and he will begin the channel. Gen.G can make a play for both these now, and Rich is actually keeping up with the push in the bottom lane, just moving forward, clearing out ways, and keeping Team Liquid back.
These blow-ups against Eternal are fantastic, but once again, another target falling here. It might be a triple, as after Reyna, Diablo is the next target of Gen.G. The body blocks are great, and here comes the displacement. Down he goes. It's a triple as we see Gen.G taking Diablo down.
Gen.G is destroying this team fight. First off, they get on top of Raynor and blow him up with the Dragon's Arrow and the damage from Sergeant Hammer, and then Urel comes in with a big knockback, put Diablo into a corner, and reset his souls.
Team Liquid a bit too hesitant to really flip the switch in the last fight. We never saw commitments to Earthquake or the Hyperion. They were dancing around, waiting for an opportunity, and then Eternal just gets blown up. The stuns are there, the Hunter's Mark is on point, and all the damage of Hammer, and Hunter just collapses onto the target. But here comes Liquid. They're looking for a kill. Lightning Breath even be used, but immediately the response from Tyrael.
Death Gate gets these two. Eternal and Army of the Dead, though, has to back away and get healed up from Nurok. Same time, Hostile is going in and trying to find those combos.
Rich!
Hammer and Trouble gets put against the wall, but Rich able to escape. The heals are coming in. The Hyperion not doing enough as Arthas is picked off.
Rich surviving again, and that's another kill. 6 kills against 1 as Reyna falls once more. Arcana not strong enough this time to turn it around. Diablo dies too. Without the souls, Billy is just not tanky enough. And Gen.G dominant so far on game number 2.
Gen.G angry from game number 1, looking very composed in game number 2, having full map control, and also the Holy Ground Edition coming online, going to allow for them to be aggressive on those sapper camps and also continue to control and lock down targets like Arthas.
And you look at Tyrande, Saka has 13 stacks already on the Lunar Blaze. He is hitting home with these stuns, and you can tell every team fight how impactful that is. It threatens Arthas at the front. They always have the damage as a follow-up, and at the same time, Saka and also, of course, Urel with that Hand of Freedom on level 4, making sure that nobody is really threatened. The attempts to take Rich down, countless, but every time there's a response, there's an answer immediately, and there's just no way at this point for Team Liquid to really get that kill. They need 13 first, but if they cannot drop Rich, they will have problems in these fights.
Team Liquid may have to worry about getting kills here and trying to get that Bell Tower back. Gen.G grouping up all 5 here on the bottom lane. They want to try and get these sappers to push forward. They do not get any to move in, but Team Liquid is already bruised and battered. There's a root that comes out with a root afterwards, but Malfurion actually gets taken out.
Malfurion goes down in Eternal's low too. Here comes the arrow. They look for the kills, and they nearly get them again as Arcana and Eternal barely escape past the gate.
Gen.G is shutting it down at Team Liquid, and the best part too is they can afford to get rid of Kyoja. He can go to the middle lane and top lane and just soak it out.
Eternal just nearly fell to Saka. The owl hits him full in the face, and Arthas nearly falls, barely able to once again move away here. But just look at experience. It's more or less a repetition of game number 1.
Gen.G
2 levels ahead already.
Showing why they're the best here. 2 ultras, 1 on the top left, 1 to the top right for both of our teams. Team Liquid in position to try and slow down someone rotating. They go straight in for Kyoja, but they're not going to be able to kill him off. Arcana for some damage in, but Tist is here for support.
What a great game so far by Gen.G. But Liquid, they have the resilience. They showcased it in game number 1. And it's never over until the fat lady sings. Already the channel on the right side here. Eternal gets the altar for them. It's a trade. And here comes the attempt to look for target. Lockdown is ready. Wolf follows. But it's not enough to actually threaten anyone on Gen.G.
Part of the issue too is that Diablo is so squishy right now. He doesn't have the souls from the death earlier. Nurok had to pop Tranquility just to keep him alive, and finally Team Liquid decides we can't fight this, we have to back away. Gen.G adds another 5 shots to the core. Down to 11, Team Liquid is on their shots.
33 points on the core against 11. 2 levels ahead and homing in on level 16 now. Gen.G looking for the talent advantage, and Eternal and the team just trying to make something happen here. They're going for the boss. They're saying, guys, fight us. We're ready. We want this 13 level fight. And Gen.G is willing to take it.
Holy Ground and Sanctification. Do you really want to do this, Team Liquid? Team Liquid controlling what they can. Diablo getting low, and Team Liquid just trying to force a fight.
You can tell that Liquid
Arrow
have to make a risk. Nature's Cure is keeping them alive for now. The arrow came out. Immediately Thrall moving up to the plate, trying to see if he has to drop the Earthquake, but they can move away. Liquid is just in a position where they feel they have to take risks. They're so far behind. You said it best, Tyrael is there, but they still said, guys, we need to do something. Let's see if we can sneak that boss in. Maybe they don't check fast enough, and we can grab it.
You can really see the frustration for Team Liquid. Even Hyperion coming out there, not really needing that full fight. They are so worried about this team fight. Team Liquid also losing out on their Sapper camp as Gen.G grabs 6 once again, stationing once again in the bottom lane, setting up for a little bit more focus and maybe a couple sappers to seep on through.
And you know, the attempt for the boss here was not only the idea, okay, let's try and take a few points off their core.
Yeah.
It's taking a win condition away from your opponent. There's a triple altar phase coming up. Now, if we are seeing 2-3 taken by your opponent, then the core, oh, even more shots coming through right now. This is a disaster for Liquid. If 2 of these altars are being channeled by Gen.G now, then it is lights out already.
And there's still 3 more sappers coming.
Yes.
Team Liquid in a very rough situation. They have to make a play here. They may have to give it the sappers and say, you know what, let them go on the bottom. We have to take 2 altars right now.
You need to go full NA at this point. You just YOLO into this, and you're trying to find that kill. If you can make that happen, then it's over, and they know it. They just ignore the zappers. They're saying, like, guys, cover the altars, try and take the team fight. But already Eternal in a corner here. Billy moving in. Army of the Dead being popped as stuns, and down they go. The front line eliminated.
Completely locked down. Couldn't even pop that Arm of the Dead. Hasselhoff's trying to retreat. Now, Raynor did take the altar in the top left corner, so Team Liquid lives to continue playing, but the 5 shots on the core here is going to be enough for Gen.G to get the win here, and they're going to tie it the series 1-1.
Fantastic performance by Gen.